I mean, after Christian Watson dropped that pass that would have been a touchdown, I mean, I knew the game was over. But it's only week one. I got nothing to worry about here. Nothing. Lots to get to today. Lots to get to.
Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, about now, about now, about now.
What's poppin', y'all? It's your man, Cloudboy Bells. Welcome to another episode of Wisco Sports After Game Analysis. Packers take down the Vikings 23-7. This was a game that was pretty much Vikings the entire way. Packers just didn't really look like they were really focused on this game at all. But another reason why you can really think about it is preseason. Once again, LaFleur held out all the starters during the preseason. And once again, everybody looked basically weak. We didn't have, our offense wasn't showing. Our defense just could not contain anybody, especially Justin Jefferson. I mean, he had the game of his life today, a career game for him. And of course, the offense, really relies on Davante Adams to get things done. But the problem was, there's no Davante Adams anymore. You got to rely on other people. Now, we didn't have Lazard today, which was another big loss, of course. Bakhtiari and Jenkins were obviously out, but I think, playing in that turf is probably a reason why LaFleur was smart enough to sit them out. But, this is only week one. A lot of people didn't play today, but a lot of the things that needed to happen to beat the Vikings today didn't happen, and that's why they lost today. There wasn't really anything I can say. I'm not too upset about this, but, I mean, pretty much everyone in Minnesota is acting like they won the Super Bowl right now because, of course, beating the Packers really means so much to them, but, of course, there's so much of the season left, so honestly, there is nothing that you could really say. A Vikings fan is always going to get into somebody's face, but just remind them of the Super Bowls that they've won. How many Super Bowls did they win again? Not zero. So if a Vikings fan talks trash, please ignore them. There's nothing really to it. But obviously they won today, so they can celebrate that. On the contrary, Aaron Rodgers went 22 out of 34, 195 yards passing, an interception, and he was sacked 4 times for 33 total yards. Jordan Love did get a series too, but it wasn't really worth much. Rodgers had one carry for a -1, but I think that was a kneel down if I'm correct. On the run game, Aaron Jones led the team with 5 carries, 49 yards. A.J. Dillon, 10 carries for 45 yards. And he led receptions with 5 catches for 46 yards. Aaron Jones also had 3 for 27. On the receiving end, didn't really get much from anybody. 4 catches for rookie Romeo Doubs, 37 yards. Robert Tonyan, 3 for 36. Welcome back. Christian Watson only had 2 for 34. 2 for 28 for DeGuara. 3 for 18 for Watkins. A catch for Winfrey. 2 catches for Cobb. Not really much for anybody on the receiving end for the Packers. Rodgers also committed a fumble. That obviously, is huge. Devondre Campbell led the team with tackles. 11 total tackles, 5 of them solo. How about Quay Walker? His debut was actually pretty good until he got injured and had to leave the game. 8 total tackles, 7 of them all solo. He looked really phenomenal. 7 tackles also for Rashawn Gary, including a sack, which was a huge deal. He was the only one that sacked Cousins today. But he's primed for a good season, so obviously that's nothing you can really sit there and say. But hey, you got to do some things. Unfortunately, some injuries did happen to the Packers today. We did lose John Runyon after a hard hit Rodgers took. Runyon got injured, had to get checked out for a concussion. Also saw Chris Barnes leave the game on a stretcher, which was an unfortunate sign to really see. Hopefully, Quay Walker's injury isn't that serious either. He So obviously that is tough news to really see. The defense just did not play well at all today. And really, a lot of it had to do with containing Justin Jefferson. Kirk Cousins went 23 out of 32, 277 yards and 2 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook had 20 carries for 90 yards, 3 catches for 18. Alexander Mattison had 8 carries for 36 yards. Justin Jefferson led the game, 9 catches, 184 yards, and the 2 touchdowns. Adam Thielen, 3 catches for 36 yards. And not much from everyone else. 3 catches and 17 yards for Munt. KJ Osborne had 3 for 14. Not really much from anything. Jordan Hicks, one of their pickups that they had good in season, 14 total tackles for him, including a sack. Harrison Smith had 7 tackles, and Bynum had 7 tackles. He is the one that ended that interception streak. Rodgers had not thrown an interception to an NFC opponent since 2019, which is pretty crazy. Harrison Smith finally doing that. Zadarius Smith got his revenge sack on Aaron Rodgers. Of course, he wanted that more than anything. DJ Wanham also with the sack. And Daniel Hunter also with another sack. The Minnesota's defense just was too tough on Rodgers, and really, their secondary wasn't as good, but their defensive front, Zadarius Smith and Daniel Hunter, those two being healthy is going to be huge problems, and Minnesota's defensive pass rush is going to be really good. That being said, I mean, it's going to be a very tough race for the division. I mean, if the Packers get on foot and really start to take off with them things, you know, they can definitely win games down the line. I mean, this is only week 1. That's the thing. But I think us and Minnesota are going to be really neck and neck this year. Kevin O'Connell is definitely the right deal. He is going to be a fantastic coach for Minnesota. Obviously, being with the Rams offensive coordinator, winning a Super Bowl with them. Obviously, this was a great signing for Minnesota just to begin with. Minnesota fans should be very excited. They have a huge deal. They did exactly what they needed to do. Minnesota definitely looks like they're going to have a really great season this year. But of course, there's nothing you can really do. But anyways, let's look past this. Hopefully, the injuries aren't too severe, especially for the one that is on Chris Barnes, but I really don't want to try to be too down about this because there's too much going on, but we'll see. I don't know. Everything was just a mess in this game, but it's week 1. I think we can move past this, but you know, that's what happens. I don't know. I guess you know what it is. So let's just move on. I'm not going to really cover much. There's nothing really I else need to cover. Packers play the Bears next week. Bears actually beat the 49ers. Surprisingly, they beat the 49ers. Why did they beat the 49ers? Because Trey Lance sucks. I think at this point we have determined that he is not a good quarterback. If your Bears offense completely destroyed Trey Lance and the 49ers defense, yeah, that really just says a lot. So, pretty much, we got to play the Bears next week at home. I think, you know, being Sunday night football next week against the Bears, I got high faith on them. Packers should win this game next week. But it's gonna be a tough season. Lions also, on the contrary, they lost to the Eagles today in a very close offensive matchup at home. And lots of other things happen, you know. Lots of crazy upsets and games. TJ Watt apparently said that he tore his pectoral heading to the sideline, so that is going to be a really tough loss if that's true, because I love TJ Watt, Wisconsin homeboy. But lots of great games going on, so try to enjoy some things. Let's hope for the best, and you know what? Let's move on. Loss when you haven't played your people all preseason, you're on the road against a great offense. That's just going to be too tough. So let's move on and hope nothing is wrong. And, you know, it's okay. Let's be okay. So anyways, if you want to see more content, obviously subscribe below. And as always, go Pack Go. We'll see you next time.